And benvenuti, fellas and bellas all over the world. Welcome to another episode of the Napoli Rant. Today we'll speak about Napoli defeating AC Milan on the road, as well as some foul ball, and are Napoli defying the odds? I am Raf Biz, joined by my co-host, the Vicar of Vesuvius, Rafa Rispo. How we doing, Rafa?
What's up, Raf Bizzarro? Come stai, my friend?
Tutto posto, tutto posto. Hello to you, sir, and hello to everybody in our live chat, as well as our audio listeners on the Far From Vesuvius podcast. Thank you for listening. Let's get this rant on the road. Napoli, another victory, take the top of the table, defeating AC Milan on the road 2-1 in a nail-biter game. Matteo Bonetti himself said it right in the beginning. Lots of talent to watch tonight. Going to be a great game. So it was. We do take the win, as well as some victories and some histories. Rafa, is that correct? Can you please enlighten our wonderful viewers about something historic that happened after that?
This is the first time that all four Juventus, Milan, Inter, and Roma all lost on the same day, not just the same weekend, but the same day since February 13th, 1955. That's thanks to Zach Lowy on Twitter, and it's at Zach Lowy.
Yes, he did.
That was a really amazing stat to see. But also, this is the first time in I think it's about 42 years that Napoli have beaten Milan at the San Siro 3 times in a row. So for 3 straight seasons, Napoli have beaten Milan at the San Siro, which, I mean, we had some really big wins against Milan at the San Siro during Banter era Milan, but this is Campioni d'Italia Milan that we've done it 3 times in a row. So I'm really impressed by Napoli's performance. But we'll talk about that, and I'm very delighted at the result, obviously.
Right.
Also, Ralph, though, really fast.
Yes.
Napoli, the Giants, and the Mets win on the same day, along with the Yankees and the Jets. So our New York Napoli fan friends, this is the first time in 13 years that all of the New York teams playing on the same day and Napoli have won a match. So there you go, guys. That's an interesting
strong performance by our teams this weekend, man. Yeah. Oh, and I want to let me give a big shout out here to. I'm sorry I cannot read the name, but watching you from Israel, 3:36 a.m. Now that is dedication, my friend.
I'm officially humbled, honestly.
Love that.
Honestly, I am. That's great, man. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Favorite pod.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We'll call you sir. Tell us your name, so I can call you that, because unfortunately, I guess that's I just can't read the
Raf,
the letter.
and you know what, man. At the same time, I know we've been talking about it every now and then. But I think one of these days we should do an earlier pod for our European friends out there, because we've got them.
Maybe we'll do something.
One of these days we'll do something live early for all our European people, so they don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. to watch us.
Right. Speaking of early, we're getting on time here. But yeah, guys, let's get into the game real quick. I mean, first 20 minutes, Rafa, it just seemed as if Milan pressed hard. They look tough. We saw a big miss from Giroud, from a nice pass from Krunic.
That was saved by me, my Meret.
Big save, big stop save, Meret. He was
that was the early Giroud ball, right? That
yes.
He had fingertipped and it hit the crossbar. Yeah.
Yes, it was like the 12th minute or something like that. But overall, just an aggressive Milan. Did it scare you at all, Rafa? Or
sure, absolutely, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You've got the champions of Italy playing really well. No Rafael Leao, no problem. They put Krunic in, and Krunic really did a good job at providing good service, and he
Mhm.
really was in there. I forgot who called him. Was it Richard Carmen? I think was calling him Krunicinho.
Yeah.
And
Oh man.
yeah, I was on their show last night. He kept calling him Krunicinho. But yeah, he was really, a protagonist in the first half. Really, really scary moments. But here's the thing: is that they learned how to contain the midfield by stopping Lobotka from getting the ball.
Right.
That and man marking Kvaratskhelia worked. It really worked for a little bit.
For a little bit. Because moving on to the second half of the second half of the first half, we
Yeah,
saw
second
Napoli.
part of the first half. Yeah.
Second part of the first half. Sorry, second part of the first half. We saw Napoli able, like, still kind of defending that press from Milan. Obviously, we had Vincenzo in here. Kim plus Romani equals Wall. We'll get into more of them later, but uh, Milan was fouling. I think Napoli had a chance. Like after the 20 minutes, when we start seeing them in the 25th minute or so, Napoli are turning things around. They're starting to move forward, but and this is going to be a big one of our segments today. But we saw Milan starting to get into a little bit of foul trouble, having to push down our attackers in order to
Mm-hmm.
stop our attack. Rafa, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
did you start seeing that at all as well? Are you with me there?
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm a little bit ahead. I think
Are
it
you?
was more towards the end of the half where Napoli really started to kind of wake up and get a rhythm going.
Mhm.
All they had to do, I feel, my cousin, we were watching at the shop. He said rope a dope. He likened it to a boxer playing some rope a dope with an opponent.
Okay.
You let them come, you let them come. You're solid defensively. You're okay at the net minding with Medet. And you let them come a little. And I'm not trying to say that Napoli were intentionally playing rope a dope, but I think Milan played the home team's game where you start a match by using the adrenaline of the crowd and pushing and seeing what you can
All right.
get early, right? And it didn't work for them. And once Napoli sort of got a foothold and maybe, Lobotka got the ball a little bit more, Kvaratskhelia was able to do some stuff with the ball. Zielinski had some good service in the first half. Myri, solid defensively, solid, in attack as well. You start letting your guard down, and they ended up paying for it. Milan did, didn't they? Because that's when draw, the yellow cards, and seemed like they were in a little bit of trouble from there, right? So the end of the first half went, I think, as good as it could for Napoli leading into the second half.
Mm. Sorry, Rafa. I lost you a little bit for the auto, but I got you back. Agreed. Agreed. Not Napoli have been certainly like a second half team. I feel like lately, and we
For
saw it
sure.
again. We saw it again against Milan. I mean, as soon as they warm up, as soon as they start warming up, and their midfield is able to kind of string things together, and we start sending through Kvara, we start sending through Zielinski, the team becomes more and more dangerous, and that's when you start seeing the foul trouble. That's when you start seeing the cards come up, and it's been pretty evident all season, and it happened again. Now, don't get me wrong. Is there some luck that was on our side? Yes, they got a post obviously in the second half. A few chances that missed the net
Absolutely.
by Macias, by Giroud. But I think, I'm just so eager to talk about Min-Jae Kim.
Yeah.
I For me, the Foot Mob had Politano as man of the match, but for all, for me, I was enjoying watching Kim because the way he was able to hold down Giroud. I mean, along with the partnership with Rahmani, I don't want to take anything away, but stifling Giroud, I think, is probably the reason why we only gave up 1 goal. Yes, Murat made some big saves, and we needed that, especially that first backdoor save. You know, we're always weak there, but he was able to take care of that. To me, Kim was a monster, and there's a reason why they call him a man. He's a silent monster, the gentle giant. We dubbed him at times, but I think his performance was top notch. For me, he was man of the match. He was man of the match by keeping everybody at bay. Aside from a few chances, a few opportunities, even towards the end, when who was it? I think was it Macias that kind of sent one right over the net. I mean, Kim was still able to put his slide, put his foot out just enough where I believe it was Macias had to kick high, and eventually, and ultimately led to the miss. So he was my hero for me this game.
Yeah, I gotta say, Kim's partnership with Ramani has been steadily increasing in value to me. I really feel like their communication has gotten much, much, much better in the in the weeks that have been unfolding. And Kim yesterday was absolutely great for the most part of the match, and he did very good job in containing the attack that was heavy. It was heavy on Napoli, especially in the first half. So I think, side note, I think I just realized who Charlie Vegas is on Twitter. I think it's Carmelo Franzetto.
It is Carmelo.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I just read because that's probably another story for another rant day. But thank you for the apology, Carmelo. I appreciate that. And De Laurentiis had some kind words for all of the doubters as well earlier. And I think all water is under the bridge after the way we've been playing. So no worries. But yeah, I mean, Kim really did step in, and listen, we're not going to say he's a Koulibaly replacement still, right? We can't sit here and be like, oh, he's replaced Koulibaly. Koulibaly will never be replaced in our hearts, but he has definitely filled. Ooh, you all right there? Good. He has definitely filled the shoes in a very, very positive way for us.
Right.
So he could be on his way to Koulibaly status. Now, very early to tell, but I mean,
he'd have to put in 2 years maybe first.
Sure. But a lot of his play. I mean, listen, a lot of his play looks like plug and play Koulibaly. Does it not?
In some instances, correct. I mean, I love his pace. Was Koulibaly faster? Not sure. Koulibaly had a great stride. He had that long, like Usain Bolt stride that can get him across the pitch real quickly. But Kim's acceleration for that big of a person is amazing. And like I said, it probably came from the time that he said he had played striker when he was younger. So he must have been running a whole lot. As far as his aerial duels, I think they're almost even. If not, Kim could be better in some instances. I don't know. The one thing about Koulibaly that I miss was those slide tackles to block shots, real big leg extension. He blocked a lot of shots like that. I would like to see a little bit more. And the fact that he would press a striker when they were ready to shoot, no matter what. He put that pressure on and forced the missed shots. So things like that, I would like to see implemented a little bit more in Kim's game. But it's just been a good replacement. I see no room to complain. I mean, we saw Carmela apologizing. No need for apologies. I think everybody at first was not sure how this was all going to pan out. I mean, we dedicated a whole episode about it, and we'll probably finish with that part 2, maybe at the end of the season. We really have to find out. We're not even a fifth way through the season yet. There's still more to see, but I mean, challenge after challenge over these past 7 games, and not even 7, really 9 in all competitions. So far, so good, and I don't have many complaints, and the depth has been great. I mean, AC Milan, I have a huge amount of respect for, Rafa. I know you were with the Serie A sit down boys yesterday. And they've been here as well, and I have a big respect for Milan right now over all the other teams. I guess not to knock any teams, but I like what they're doing. I like how they play. I know they had a couple injuries between Leal and I think there was another midfielder that was hurt. I think, maybe Milan missing those guys. They missed a little bit of quality in attack, but they just had Champions League. We just had Champions League. So we can't complain about fatigue or anything. But I think that Napoli with this bench is the reason why we take this W. I mean, Simeone scoring off the bench. And some people were saying, like, I honestly, I actually was Joe Fischetti. And for the first time in my life, I think I disagree with Joe Fischetti. And, he had said that he had a bad game against Liverpool. And I respectfully disagree. He didn't have the greatest of opportunities, but he did have a few chances that almost led to goal. I mean, McGregor was, he stood on his head. He was certainly the beast of the match against, with the Rangers against Napoli. I'm sorry, I might have said Liverpool, but with Rangers.
Okay.
Who are
we talking about? We're talking about Simeone, correct?
I'm talking about Simeone.
Okay.
It's sometimes it's when somebody he's not doing these flashy things, although his goal I thought was pretty beastly. But I think he is a good player, and I think he is doing good. And considering all the time he's played so far over these past 9 games, I think with more time we're going to see more and more of him. I mean,
sure.
The fact that he broke like he was able to keep the ball while getting pressed by 3 people, and then having the mind to send it to Rui, and Rui having the mind back to just like sending it right back, a perfect cross to a perfect header that slips right over. I believe it was Tomori and Magnan.
Yeah. Well, if you watch Simeone, take the ball, take on the 3 defenders, give it away. The very first thing he does is run into the box and call for the ball.
Yeah.
So you have a guy who's just distributed and knows where to be, and that's something we missed with Petagna. Now, Petagna got a good amount of important goals for Napoli when he was here. He didn't score a lot, but the goals he scored were 85% of them were match winners, whether it was Coppa or League. And that's invaluable in a certain way. What we missed was the consistency of, okay, I need to take Osimhen out. Okay, I need to replace with another striker. Mertens is in. We have what? Who do we have? Oh, just Petagna. Not good enough. Now we have Raspadori and we have Cholito Simeone. And Simeone couldn't have been. I mean, I'm telling you right now, and I know this may be a little bit of a hot take. I don't know how hot of a take it is, but I think of all of the transfers that came in so far, I think Simeone is the most important transfer that we've made. Yes, Kvaratskhelia is lighting it up like I predicted. Yes, he replaced Insigne well. Yes, we needed to replace, Koulibaly well. We have. But I truly believe that in the long run, this Simeone transfer is going to pay dividends for Napoli at the end of the day, because not only are we set with a backup for Osimhen right now, but I believe in my heart we've also set up post Osimhen Napoli with Giovanni Simeone.
I mean, I think it's already paying dividends. He got 2 big goals. He got a winning goal. He got a winning goal against Milan, and then he got a winning goal in Champions League as well. Yeah. 2 big goals. I mean, it's almost like Petagna, because Petagna always used to get the big goals or like the game winner. But I have a little bit of a hot take as well, Rafa, about all this. And Kvara, of course, at the gate has been great. His ball handling skills, his strength, his power, his no fear attitude, his hungriness is the best, and he's getting all this love out there, which is great. But I think there's been a few opportunities. I think Victor Osimhen should have a couple more goals assisted by Kvara. I think Osimhen did well to get. First of all, he does well we kind of miss him drawing defenders and opening up space for people. That's number one with Victor. But number two is that when Kvara does hold the ball, and sometimes it's good, you want a ball handler to take on defenders, but that last shot instead of pass, I think, has been his the weakest part of his game, if that's what you want to call it. I think that Victor Osimhen could have had at least two backdoor goals, easy tap-ins. Fine, they're easy, but he's where he's supposed to be. Kvara needs to put his head up and give those opportunities to a striker, because if he's going to go in and cut in and always take a shot, and defenders get to know this, they're going to keep blocking it. And I think those chances that we don't see is because of him taking that shot instead of passing the ball. So I would like for him to start feeding Simeone a little bit more when they're out there, start feeding Victor Osimhen a little bit more. I know Raspadori, he's similar to that false nine. He's more creative as well. But as far as Simeone and Victor, they need service from Kvara. Kvara, he should have more assists by now. And, that's what I feel about that.
No, listen, I agree. I agree to an extent. I think he's doing fine, though, because there's a whole other aspect to his game, isn't there? I mean, we're talking about what he can do on the ball, but let's, and like in attack, but let's also talk about what Kvaratskhelia could do when it comes to drawing fouls, man, because that sort of got us going yesterday. That was the reason we really got going, was the whole fact that Kvaratskhelia draws these yellow cards to these defenders that were on him, like white on rice. He took care of that whole right side. I mean, he took Kier out first with a yellow, and then he took out Calabria. And, I'm sorry, or the other way around, Calabria Kier. I don't remember. But the point is that you got your right back and your right center defender on a yellow in the first half. And now, Pioli is forced to make two substitutions at halftime and put two more defenders in. And then what does he do? He not only does he draw the foul on Serginho Dest to get the penalty kick, but it also creates another yellow card for Krunic for dissent. So, like, this guy has really done his job when you're not really, you're not seeing it. You're placing a bet on a goal or an assist for Kvaratskhelia. You're placing two or more goals, but at the same time, if he doesn't get that, he contributes in another way. And that's something that, we really needed big time.
Absolutely. But Rafa, as far as contribution goes, let's give everybody the beast of the match today, guys. So everybody in the chat, who was your beast of the match? I mean, let me tell you something. We had to create like a committee to figure this out, Rafa and I, because
that's not a joke.
Picked one. It's not a joke. This is real. This is real talk.
Real life.
This is real life, man. I had one. Rafa had another. And I think this is the first time that it was difficult for both of us to make a compromise. So the next best thing was like, we're going to call a few people and we're going to settle this. And we put it to a vote.
Biz and I really normally, when it comes to the beast of the match, we may agree right away or we may differ, but one of us convinces the other that, we should do that. And here we were just like, oh man,
it was a stalemate, right, Rafa? No,
we were very stubborn, the two of us today. So we needed help from our friends, and we got it.
Yeah, so, I'm just going through a few in here. Do it. All right, guys, who is your beast of the match? Who is our beast of the match? Let's find out right now. Here it is, guys.
No question.
Mario Rui. Rafa, I'm going to let you lead the way since this was your guy.
No question.
But I have been convinced. Go ahead, Rafa.
No question. Mario Rui. Solid defensively in the first half, right? Then there was that foul on Kvaratskhelia. The one that I believe Calabria got the yellow for might have been Kier. It was one of the yellow cards, but Kvara on the ground, Milan going up to pick him up off the pitch, and Myra Rui got in their face, and I believe it was Teo Hernandez's face. I could be wrong, but
he got to the whole
starts
team's face.
yeah, he starts pushing and shoving
Yeah.
like a co-captain or a vice captain should. You know what I mean? And he just plays with so much heart. First half, beautiful. Second half, even better. I mean, again, the ball he sent in to Simeone was pitch perfect. It was his first. Myra Rui can cross the ball in, but it was his first real good opportunity to get a proper assist, and he took it. And then from there, just his defensive prowess after that to preserve the lead, just for me was outstanding. He was winning balls back. He was cleanly coming into just strip defenders of balls. He absolutely, for me, won beast of the match, best player on the team. Not for nothing, he would have been my man of the match as well.
Really?
Like you mentioned earlier, yeah, Foot Mob gave it to Politano, which made this a lot easier for me to consider Rui as beast, because I just can't say enough about Mario Rui. And honestly, Ralph Pizarro, when we were focused on who's going to win it, my choice or your choice, once one of our friends spoke up and said the way he handled Milan players crowding Kvaratskhelia, the way he had their back, just right there solidified beast before the first half was even over. So Fair. Kudos to him. In my opinion, it's Mario Rui all day long. We can talk about your honorable mention if you want, Ralph Pizarro.
No,
I'm happy I won this one.
No, hey, listen, my mention was Kim. Kim was my choice, and again, I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. But after kind of speaking to everybody and people pointing out the things were Kvara was being crowded by Milan players when he was on the floor. You don't want to see that. Rui stepped over him and literally got into everybody's face, pushing him back before Di Lorenzo, and then we saw Zambo and Guisa, who's definitely a guy I don't want to mess with. But Mario Rui, him looking with those eyes, looking at you like that, he's just a tough dude, man, and he always shows this, and I like that he defended his players. He stood up for his teammates away at the Milan Stadium. This is not at home. This is him, and he ran by himself, and he was the first one there. That to me is beastly. Now, it doesn't speak much for performance, but it doesn't matter because we talk about the team gelling, we talk about chemistry, we talk about the team being together. I mean, this proves that as far as we know, the team's together. And they're going to stick up for each other, and they're going to play hard. So I was happy to see that from Mario Rui. And honestly, I didn't expect anything less. It gives me those Aronica vibes and how tough he was too. And when Lavezzi kicked the ball to was Allegri at the time, Parma. Yeah, and
no, it was Cagliari. Yeah,
Cagliari, and we saw Aronica and even Grava at the time basically taking out the old bench. It gave me those vibes, So
I'm very with you when it comes to the players being together and getting along. And maybe we can talk about this later or another time. But one thing I did not like seeing was at the end of the match, Lozano giving Domenichini, the assistant coach who stepped in for Spalletti, a lot of crap about him not coming into the match. I didn't like that at all. He didn't join them in the salute to the fans. And he was sort of half-assing the celebration that Tommy Starace posted on his Instagram. If you can see how they celebrated in the back in the Spogliatoi, he was just kind of standing there smiling but not really jumping. He wasn't really into it, and I don't like that. So all the good vibes, because at the end of the day, Ralph, right? The good vibes, the good camaraderie is what's going to win this Scudetto. It's going to win titles. The chemistry is as a unit is together. But we've seen this before from Lozano, where he just kind of bitches and moans about not getting playing time. okay, dude, today wasn't your day. Now I don't really agree with the substitution from Politano to Zerbin. I think Lozano should have come in, but at the same time, oh well, it's just the way it is. You didn't get a playing time this go around. You'll get playing time next go around. So I like that the team is together and has that camaraderie, but Lozano really has to get on the same page with this team. You saw at the end of the game, Kim and Meret hugging. Right in the background, there was a still where Kim and Meret were hugging in the background, but the focus of the photo was Simeone getting on the ground after the final whistle blew and being so happy that he got the match winner. And who's behind him or right in front of him hugging him is Raspadori, the guy he replaced, who maybe didn't have such a great game. Smiling from ear to ear because his replacement got the winner. That's what I want to see out of this team. Not someone bitching, moaning, and complaining about coming off about not playing in the match after the whistle is blown, and you're walking the opposite direction while everybody else is going to celebrate with the fans. I ain't with that, man. And I'm a big fan of Lozano, and I'm a big supporter of Lozano's, and everybody knows that I support and defend this entire team, but I will not defend that. And if that's how he's going to play, he could leave my club.
Word. Damn. You heard it
sorry
here.
that the beast of the match turned into Rafa, the beast of, Lozano.
The rant.
The
beast
rant,
of the rant right now.
Beast of the rant. But I'm sorry, the same grinta that Mario Ruiz shows is what Lozano should show on the bench. You got guys like Zanoli and freaking Ostigard that doesn't play, and Sirigu that's going to sit on the bench, and Marfella, Christ, you'll never see him play in a minute in the Serie A. But guess what? They were so happy that we won this match, and here's Lozano crying about it. I ain't with that.
I ain't with that either, Lozano. You got to do better. I mean, listen, he was hurt. We got 2 weeks coming up. Take the extra time to heal, man. We can't, like, Politano just got hurt now too. The last thing we need is another little tweak to Lozano, and then we're asked out on right wing. So relax, Lozano. Chill. You're good. We have so many games, bro. We've only played 7 games. We have 31 more games to go in Serie A alone. You're gonna get time, Lozano. Chill. Because we all know what happens with Italy. We've been so hard. Well, not with Italy, rather with Napoli and Rafa. Our attack, including Lozano, when he was healthy and when he was playing these past few games, have been so strong and been so attacking that it seems as if defenses can't even stop us. Well, they can stop us, but the only way to do it by stopping is playing foul ball. Foul ball, Rafa. Fouls. Now I'm going to put.
What is this, baseball?
Foul ball. No, it's foul ball. Foul ball. But no, it's listen, we're going to put up a graph. I'm not even going to waste any more time, but it's lately it just I went back and we ran some numbers, Rafa, and Rafa's going to give you the specifics, but here's just a quick snapshot of what we've been dealing with over the past 9 games. So these are the stats for all games and all competitions. Napoli versus the opposition. I mean, pretty clear as day. The opposition committing 130 fouls on Napoli, 26 yellow cards, 1 red card, versus Napoli's 88 fouls committed to their 14 yellow cards with no red cards at all. I mean, we're looking at, Rafa, it's like 30% more fouling committed to Napoli than Napoli actually doing the fouling. I mean,
yeah. This is an impressive graph.
No.
Yeah.
What does it say to you, Rafa? I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I want to know. I mean, I know you got some of the specifics there. I'd like to know about them. Like to tell the viewers here, but Enzo Esposito kind of said this is what happens when you dominate the midfield. I mean,
sure.
What is this telling us, Rafa? What is this telling us?
Well, it's telling us that we are able to capitalize on the like the mistakes that the defense makes against us. We're able to control the narrative when it comes to defenders marking us, or even in the midfield. it shows that we get under people's skin and it's working, right? The opposition have 26 yellow cards, 1 red. We do have 1 red, and it was Spalletti. But if we're talking about players, one of these yellow,
so this doesn't include coaches.
it doesn't include. No, the 1 yellow does include Sadi. So it's 27 yellows altogether. One of them includes Sadi. But I'll read this out to you. So here's how it goes down. Okay, Verona, we get 2 yellow. I'm sorry, opposition, right? Verona got 2 yellows against us. We win 5-2. Monza got 1 yellow. We win 4-0. Fiorentina 2 yellows, 0-0. Lecce 4 yellows. That's a big one. I'm going to come back to. 4 yellows in the 1-1. Lazio, we drew 5 yellow cards. We got none. Beat them 2-1 on the road. Liverpool 2 yellow cards. 4-1 win. Big yellow cards too. Spezia 2 yellow cards. We win 1-0. And against Rangers, 5 yellows, 1 red. You all know how that went down.
Mm-hmm.
And then against Milan yesterday, 4 yellow cards, right? Kvaratskhelia drew the yellow cards, like we mentioned earlier, on Kier and Calabria, forcing them to come out. And 2 new players come in. And, the 1 yellow was drawn by dissent, which was Krunic, but that was in a reaction to the foul from Dest to Kvaratskhelia. And then, history is what it is. So far, Napoli players that have drawn yellow cards, period, right? Kvaratskhelia leads the pack with 4. Then it's Anguissa with 3. Then you got Mario Rui, Politano, and Lozano all have drawn 2 yellow cards, right? There's a little asterisk over Mario Rui, though. Lobotka, Ostigard, and Dombele all have 1, and all of those were in the game against Lecce. So that's the only cards that they've drawn, but it was in that game. So we're talking about the midfield and the defense.
Right.
Kim, Osimhen, Simeone, and Meret have drawn 1 yellow card. I'm sorry. Kim, Osimhen, and Meret have drawn 1 yellow card. Simeone drew a yellow that turned into a red. So he drew the second yellow. And then there was 1 handball that was called for a yellow. There was 1 time wasting, which was Drangowski. Sadi got a yellow, and then 7 yellows are for dissent. The Mariri asterisk was he was fouled, but the card was not administered until there was the dissent call, and that was, I believe, in the match. It was in the Rangers match.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the Rangers match. He drew a foul. Lundstrom drew a foul on him, and he didn't like it, so he got up and bitched at the ref, and he got a card for dissent, but it was all Mariri. So what that tells me is that, like I said, Kvaratskhelia is doing way more than just providing goals and assists. He's drawing fouls to pick up cards, man. And these numbers to me tell a lot, because it just, for me, really, really gets the team on the same page. Like, listen, if they're going to stick you, if they're going to mark you, if they're going to man mark you, make them want to foul you hard. Yeah. Make them want to get in trouble. You want them to get in trouble. That's what you want. You want them to have to change their directive, because if that was that, I guarantee you, Milan's manager, Pioli, was not looking to change his defense up at halftime. That was not the plan. I can promise you that. So, in my opinion, these guys they're doing their jobs. They're doing more than their jobs, in my opinion, and it's working. We're unbeaten in the season, and we're making it really difficult for teams who even have figured us out to carry out a plan. Like there's, like Milan carried out a plan for the first half, and it worked for the most part of the first half, right? But we found a way to get around their game plan, right? And we found a way to get in control of the game. And that's more than just talent, mentality, and going with the flow. That's good management. That's good coaching.
Definitely.
That's very good coaching.
And Ralph, also the fact that, like we heard things saying, well, Milan had all these chances and what have you. Napoli had a number of chances too, but they kept being stopped by these football style tackles, taking on Kvara, these crazy slide tackles, these pulls of the shirts, these like we wouldn't see. I mean, we would probably see a lot more big chances created by Napoli as well, but we don't because we keep getting fouled. How much are we missing out when all this happens? Now I get it. It's a professional foul. It's what defensemen have to do, but I don't know, man. It kind of sucks in one way because we're probably missing out. I mean, I guess as a fan, that's easy to say.
Sure. Milan had a lot of chances yesterday. As a matter of fact, Milan should have taken that 2-2. Kalulu should have buried that ball that came to him, and it hit the cross, smacked against the crossbar towards the end of the match.
Right.
Absolutely, this game could have. And you know what, Ralph? If the game ended in a draw, whether it was 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, then that would have been the right result because both teams really played a good game against each other.
Sure.
This was one of the more entertaining matches in Serie A that I've seen this season, and by far, these are the best two teams that we've seen so far. You have Atalanta that doesn't have Europe this season. Yeah, you have Udinese playing out of their minds. But right now, the top two is Milan and Napoli, hands down.
100%. And that's why it was such a good game. And that's why even Bonetti called it. I want to read a comment here by Salvatore Coppola. Also, he says, also shows a light on our possession numbers so far. This would have been a good number to get. When we control the possession, it frustrates opponents. I agree.
Piggybacking on that, possession was 58-42 up until the last 5 minutes of the first half, where at the end of the first half, it ended up 52-48 in favor of Milan. So Milan were winning the possession game, but then once Napoli started finding their way towards the end of the last 5-10 minutes of the first half, the possession drastically changed to almost even. And I couldn't even tell you what the end possession was. I don't know. I don't have that number.
It was still almost 50-50.
Pretty 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it really
Not
quickly.
quite, but maybe it was, off by like 3 or 4%, I think, if I remember correctly.
Man, 51-49 Milan.
There you go.
50%, man. Half.
Yeah.
I mean, they took 22 shots. We took 9. You know what I mean? 9 is still a lot of shots.
They had 22 shots, but only 5 went on target, Rafa. So a lot of them either missed or they were just blocked. We had a lot of blocked shots.
One went in. And only one went in. And that's where my honorable mention was Meret. He's gonna get beast of the match one of these days, man.
Yeah. He's gonna get it, but he's gonna get it at the right time. He's gonna convince people. But moving on, speaking of convincing people, I think not only Meret, like Napoli are in the same boat where it just seems as if we came out this season as underdogs. We were told that probably weren't going nowhere this season and what have you. And it seems as if now that Napoli defying the odds, Rafa. Like we sit at the top of the table. We have a ton of goals. We have a great defense. I think we've done a great job replacing everybody that's left, including with Koulibaly, Insigne, and Mertens, as well as others, even Gulam leaving and all that. What does this say to you, Rafa? I mean, like, I get it during the beginning, especially the beginning of the market when, we got rid of these players and what happened emotionally, but are we defying the odds now? Are we proving ourselves out there? Now, I'm not trying to get ahead of anything, but I'm just saying, I think Napoli, Donnie, I think the overall discord is show us respect. And are we validated in saying that, Rafa, after these past few games?
100%. And defying the odds doesn't even come close to describing it. We started the season off at 25-1 to win the Scudetto, and that's a number that's real. I know we all heard, I think it was Bonetti who mentioned it, right? And I checked it because I put $100 on Napoli to win the Scudetto at 25-1.
Mhm.
I know that for a fact. I cashed in. I'm not gonna lie. I cashed in because it was already triple plus 0.5 the money. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? Just to be safe, I'm gonna cash this bet in right now and pay for vacation. Right.
Nice. All right.
But now Napoli are 3-1 odds. 3-1.
Wow.
So
Wow.
and you go, you yeah, I know a lot of people were really upset about the odds and the odds makers and the way the way they valued Napoli, and they were a little bit, I would say, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? They were a little bit insulted at the high odd, the 25-1 odds.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real, we did get rid of everybody and replace them with guys we couldn't even pronounce. So that is a real thing. Like, it happened. Now, do us Napoli fans, diehard, hardcore Napoli fans, a lot of us were very worried, but there were still some of us right here, me, who had the faith that we would finish top 4 at least, that we would compete, contend. Yes, I had that faith. But did I think we'd win the Scudetto? No. That's why I put $100 on Napoli to win at 25-1. Because if we did, the money is good. You know what I mean? But man, here we are, 7 matches in, right? And looking pretty good for ourselves. And I got to tell you something. It's much different than last season's 8 straight wins to start, right? We've got the 2 draws, but look at how we're playing. It's not just in the league. Look how we're eking wins out. Look how we're beating teams handily in the Champions League. This is something that has not happened before, where we are first in the league, first in the Champions League, the best team in the league as far as goals for and against are concerned, and then at the same time, best team in the league in the Champions League as far as goals and assists. I mean, we lead the Champions League in goals for and against. We lead it at the same time leading Serie A in the same regard. So that's something that's gotta be said about that right now. And I know, like Ralph said, it's early. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Yes, Napoli are defying the odds. Can they defy the odds and make it all the way? The big difference is we've got the bench now. We've got the bench to do it. And that's it. You said it. The bench won this game for Milan against Milan yesterday. The bench did it.
The bench has been doing a whole lot lately, hasn't it? I mean, look what happened
against Rangers. The bench did it against Lazio.
Yeah.
Spezia. We just they're doing the job.
Right.
They're doing the job,
and they're grinding out those wins. You see goals coming from different places, and I think that's what I'm most happy about. I think we got like 7. How many goals? Like 6 goal scorers now, or something like that. Kvara, Victor, Simeone, Raspa, Lobo, Anguissa, Kim, Politano.
I think it's like
Ndombele, 9.
Ndombele.
Yeah.
Did you get Lobotka? Did you get
Yeah,
Raspadori?
I think got like 9. Got like 9. Yeah. It's about 9. About 9. Zielinski 10. And I think
we missing one?
Elmas. My son.
11 goal scorers. 11 different goal scorers.
Man. Yeah. Our friend Ronnie says, I think that Leo Cigar should get more chances. And I think he will. He will.
I'm going to put this one up really quick.
Yeah.
Enzo Esposito. Napoli's doing what Milan did last year. Younger players and lower wages. I don't know why Napoli got all the criticism. Well, I do know why Napoli got all the criticism. It was the big names that left, and maybe rightfully so, but it was a little overboard. But I want to speak on regards to what you said about Napoli's doing what Milan did last year. I think Napoli are going to do it better because they're going to do it while making the next round of the Champions League. Don't forget, last season, Milan bowed out of the Champions League, 4th place, didn't even make Europe, after the group stage, won the Scudetto. Year before that, Inter did the same thing. All they needed was one goal against Shakhtar Donetsk to win the group. Never mind to go to the next round, to win the group, and they couldn't even do that. They're out of the Champions League. They're out of Europe altogether. Boom, Scudetto. And those are the 2 times teams won a Scudetto in the last 12 years, other than Juventus. They had to get out of Europe altogether to do it. And Napoli are going to be here at the end, while also having make a respectable run in Europe and possibly a Coppa Italia run. I'm telling you right now, Napoli have the depth to do it. They have the depth to do it.
Rafa, I'm going to put on a little bit of closing music here as we finish up. But, sir, I'm with you there. I think more than ever, the biggest difference with Napoli this season is certainly their bench. And we're seeing it paying dividends already. And you know what it is, Rafa, too? I'm not as anxious as I was last season, where if like somebody gets hurt, it's like, oh, we're screwed. Exactly. Play the kids. We got to put this guy. We have people that can come in now and continue to make a difference no matter what. No matter, we saw Leo Ostigard came in, wins Beast of the Match. Ndombele comes in, wins Beast of the Match. Raspadori winning man of the match, scoring winning goals. Simeone coming in, scoring winning goals. I know Carmelo said something about Zerbin, and yeah, he'll get his, he'll need a little bit more playing time, but him showing some promise. I mean, I'm not as worried as I was last season. I think that's the significant difference for me, but
yeah, and you can tell. I mean, we lost Osimhen. We lost Osimhen last year. This time we lose Osimhen. Forget about it. We're screwed. You know what I mean? But now we lost Osimhen, and you know what? We're not so screwed, are we?
Nope. We're having a good time now.
I'm going to put this up here. Enzo, yeah. Udinese make a Leicester-type run? No. Udinese is not going to win the league. Leicester won the league. To make a Leicester-type one, they have to win the league. They're not going to win the league. But I do think they're going to make Europe and not the Conference League.
Top pod, Steve says, top pod, guys. Loving the midfield cohesion this season. One touch passes and seemingly knowing where the midfield partner is without looking. You seem much more in control and through the middle. Indonesia will go to the Conference League.
I think they can contend for 5th place, guys. That's a hot take. If they stay healthy, that team, I'm telling you, if you didn't watch the Udinese Inter match from early Sunday morning for the Espresso match, you go back and watch it. And I'm not just talking about the highlights. Sit through the 90 minutes. I'm telling you, Udinese is a problem. Udinese is a big problem. Udinese at home are going to be real tough. I'm not looking forward to that match. You know what I am looking forward to?
What's that?
I'm looking forward to another Juventus loss when they go
Inguayada.
It's Juve Milan in the second match back from actually they have Champions League in between too. I believe Juve play, I want to say Verona when we come back. And then they have to play Champions League and then Milan. And I'm looking way forward to that. And by the way, let's keep Allegri in. Why don't we? Instead of trying to get rid of
Hashtag Allegri in. Yeah. Henry Bell started that. Guys, if you haven't already, go check the last episode of Far From Vesuvio, man. It was hilarious. I loved it. Henry Bell had me cracking up, just little by little, kind of admitting what he was doing in the bar. It was great. And then even right after goes on the podcast with Joe Fischetti on the Forza Napoli podcast. It was just it was just great to hear. So check it out, guys. Check it out.
Ron, are you a Maccabi Haifa fan? Is that your team out in Israel? Please tell me yes. Please tell me yes, because that team could beat Juventus. I promise you, you will get points out of one of those two matches. I'll promise you that. Promise. Juventus are done. And I love it. I love every single minute of it. Oh, guys. Oh, this has been such a great week. Beautiful. Everybody cheer. Hey, they have an American goalkeeper. Cheer for Maccabi Haifa. Please. Beautiful. Love it.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody on the chat. Thanks to all the audio listeners. Rafa, great show as always. We will see. Who do we got? Oh, we got 2 weeks off. But
next weekend we don't have matches because Italy have to round up the Nations League. When we come back, we are the first match of Serie A weekend, Saturday, October 1st at 9 a.m. Napoli play Torino at the Maradona. And guess what I'll be doing? I'll be coaching my kids' team. Oh, nice. I just realized that. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be brutal.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great because they're gonna get tons of goals. Because Coach Rafa, Rafa's gonna be on the sidelines. Rocco.
You can bet your ass I'm gonna have one AirPod in one ear, and I'm gonna yell out when we score.
Man, well, good luck to them. Hope for a big victory for Napoli. Well, not for Napoli, they're not playing, but for Rocco's team, guys. Until next time, Forza Napoli sempre. All right, ciao, guys. Be good.